Good afternoon, and we're in Edinburgh today for our featured game on the third weekend of fixtures in the FOSROC Super6 as Watsonians Rugby welcome Stirling County. Some shots there of the players just warming up earlier. And the pitch looking in great condition, the weather's fair, and we're all set for another fantastic game of rugby in the Super6. And we're live from Myerside for Watsonians Rugby's first home game of the season. The visitors are Stirling County, and this is a chance for the two unbeaten sides after the first two fixtures to go head to head in what promises to be another superb game of rugby. I'm Bruce Miller, your commentator today, and I'm joined by Ewan Kennedy, a man well known around Myerside, also the wider Scottish rugby community. He's just joined me. It's Watsonians FC President Ewan Kennedy. I'm certainly looking forward to his insight this afternoon. Good afternoon, Ewan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pleased to be here for Myerside's first home game of the season, and massively excited. 2 weeks, 2 games into the Super 6 season, and this is the third one, so yeah.
Thank you, Ewan. So of course there have been 2 fixtures already this weekend in the Super 6. Boroughmuir Bears picking up their first victory of the season, surviving a late comeback from Heriot's Rugby to win 34-31. And the Ayrshire Bulls producing a good performance at the Greenyards to beat the Southern Knights 29 points to 10. That takes the Ayrshire Bulls to the top of the table. Of course, whoever wins today will leapfrog the Bulls and sit in pole position at the end of today. So a quick look then at the two teams, looking down Watsonians Rugby. We have Murray Scott coming in for a start at Scrum-Half, taking over from Rowan Frostwick. Lee Miller captains the side from 10. And look out for Loman McPherson on the wing. Scored a brace in the victory against Heriot's last weekend. As a teenager, played the round ball game and switched over to rugby, and certainly had a great start to this season. And for Stirling County, Glasgow Warriors Adam Ash starts at 8, and Josh Henderson and Brandon Thompson have switched places at 10 and 15 respectively. Ewan, you'll know the Watsonians Rugby players very well. Just pick out one or two who you think will be key players for the team this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Captain Lee Miller has been an inspirational character for us. He's played fully professional rugby down south. He came back up last season and played in our Premiership team last year. But he was the one apparently at half-time in the Heriot's game last week who transformed Watsonians' performance. He gave them a very stern talking to at half-time, and they improved their performance in the second half, so that's good.
And here's the teams coming out. First of all, the visitors, Stirling County. And they head off to our right as we watch from the back of the stand here at Myerside. And just waiting on
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
the home team,
Watsonians,
led out by their captain, Lee Miller. And just a quick note that there will be a minute's silence before the start of this game in memory of Ian Finney, who sadly died last Saturday. Played from 1973 to 1986 for various Watsonians teams, played almost 150 games for the first 15 of the club as a hooker and in the back row. So we'll just see the players lining up there, and so we'll just take a short break in memory of Ian Finney. He was a Scottish newscaster and hooker who wrote his novel into Welsh Rugby in 1972. He was a formidable sales player and hooker, and in the Presbyterian Service Speedway training his skills. He and the was 4-4.
Thank you.
A minute's silence there in memory of Ian Finney, a man you knew well, Ewan.
Yes, indeed. Ian was a guy I've known for 60 years, since we started school together at 5, and you know, went through all sort of trials and tribulations together as teenagers, and played with him here at the club. So very sad news. His partner, daughter and grandson are all here today to witness that minute's silence. So
Okay, lads, ready?
a very notable guy in the Watsonian Rugby fraternity.
Time on.
Here we go then. It's Stirling County, the visitors, to kick us off. A long kick deep into the Watsonians 22. Gathered there and taken just outside the 22. The referee will be communicating to the players here, but I think the unable to kick out here. It's still with Watsonians through the hands there of Lee Miller. Out to his 12, his centre, Joe Reynolds. Left-footed kick, kept that in field, and it's taken there by Adam Ash. Stirling County number 8 of Glasgow Warriors takes it into contact on the Watsonians 10-metre line. County just attacking through the forwards here, and it's a good line there by the big loose head prop Murphy Walker. A loud blast on the whistle from the referee, just explaining to the Watsonians players what the infringement was. Just on the 22, 15 metres in from that far touchline, and a great start by Stirling County.
Yes, interesting again, they've opted to kick for the 5 metre line out rather than take the goal kick. This seems to be happening more and more in Super 6 rugby these days, and let's see if they benefit from that decision.
Watch your time is here.
So line out then to the visitors. We've played just over a minute of this one, and a fantastic attacking opportunity here for Stirling County. The line out about 5 metres or so out from the Watsonians try line. In the first part of the equation, taking the ball cleanly in the line out, and they get some go forward, trying to get themselves set. Watsonians doing their best to stop it.
That's one, Stein!
And the referee saying that's once. However, they can get themselves moving forward again. Stirling County just inching towards that Watsonians try line, getting very, very close here. Watsonians piling in bodies to try and stop it. The referee in, and he's awarded the try. So the game only 2 minutes old here at Myerside, and already the visitors with an early try.
Yeah, as I said, they took the gamble, went for the 5 metre line out, and managed to overpower Watsonians to score in the corner. So a wise decision.
Just seeing the replay here, and say initially they struggled to get some go forward, but they were patient. They just got themselves set, drove towards the line, just trying to see who's getting up there last. The referee on the spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of patience needed in these situations, because obviously there's two pretty sizable packs both pushing against each other. Obviously the attacking team has the momentum, and that momentum managed to carry them over the line. So 5-0 to Stirling County.
The conversion attempt will be from out wide over on the far touch line. Left-footed kicker, so it's the easier side for him. Right-footed, no, is you're correct. Right-footed, yes. He was fooling me by standing on the other side of the ball, and he just come round here. Yes, I'm easily fooled. It's their standoff. Brandon Thompson, as I said earlier, switched places with Josh Henderson. Strikes that one nicely. However, the flags stay down, so unable to add the extras there. Thompson. But a great start for Stirling County. It's Watsonians 0, Stirling County 5.
Yeah, Watsonians not been in the Stirling half yet, so they'll be looking to get some forward momentum and just run it through a few phases, hopefully in the Stirling half.
So Watsonians then to get us restarted. It's a lovely high-hanging restart there by Lee Miller, maybe just a little bit too far, so Watsonians forwards unable to get there and put on pressure. Taken into contact by Stirling County just outside their 22. Again, a pod of 3 forwards just waiting to carry. That's a big contact by Watsonians. Ball presented there by Stirling County, and then they rewind the other way back towards the touchline. Again, the forwards just taking into contact, presumably trying to set up position here for the kicker. Once again, the forwards take it into contact. And Josh Henderson just lurking there, whether they use him for the kick. Caleb Korteweg, the scrum half. In fact, it's the standoff there. Brandon Thompson in acting as scrum half. He does find Josh Henderson. He sends a kick away across the far side. It's bounced, stayed infield. It's Lee Miller across there, and he looked like he was coming to his right, but he had a player calling on the left. And Watsonians take play up over halfway in pile Stirling County. And the referee has spotted a knock-on in there, a little bit untidy by Watsonians, and it will be a scrum feed for Stirling County.
Yeah, I think that was Angus Guthrie on the left wing for Watsonians that took the pass from Lee Miller, but unfortunately just spilled the ball forward in the contact situation, so scrum put into Stirling.
The referee just having a quick word with the two front rows.
Left of the mark.
And it will be Korteweg to put in here for Stirling County. Say the scrum just on the Stirling County side of halfway. We've had the better of the opening exchanges and lead 5 points to 0 from that line out, driven over in that far corner. Clean engagement by the front rows. We're going to get this scrum at the first time of asking. Solid scrum by Stirling County. Korteweg having to dig a little bit into the second rows for that. And out it comes to the Stirling County back line. It's Ewan Garvey peering off the right wing, coming looking for work in the midfield. And again, round the corner come the forwards. Adamash just dumming a little pass inside, takes it into contact himself. Two number 9s doing battle there. Back of the breakdown, Murray Scott came round in today for Rowan Frostwick. That scrum half got hold of his opposite number. Stirling County in possession though. Once again, you can see Brandon Thompson having to come in from standoff and do the job of scrum half. And out it comes. There was a hint of space there on this stand side wing, but good feet there by Josh Henderson. Stirling County fullback, and once again the forwards take it into contact. This time James Pow for County. Right, it goes to Thompson, again steps through a gap and he's away. Now looks for support, he's got it on both sides, looks left, finds the player to his right, and this could well be Stirling County in once again over the goal for the second try. Fantastic break by Brandon Thompson, and in goes Robbie Kent. It's Watsonians 0, Stirling County 10.
Yeah, great try by Stirling there, covering all of 50-60 metres from the breakdown situation. Great initial break by Brandon Thompson, but great support on his right hand side from the rest of the back line. Sonny's not been in this game yet, I have to say.
Both centres involved there. Landon Hayes has taken the ball from Brandon Thompson after he made the break and realised that he had his centre partner Robbie Kent outside him. Just gave that pass and too quick for the cover, and it all came from that break. Good work by the forwards initially, and then Brandon Thompson going through a gap. The first conversion missed. This one a little easier, about 15 metres in from that far touch line. Just eyes up the posts. Takes his time over this one. Again, a clean strike. The referee's assistants have a quick glance at each other. The flags go up, so no mistake at the second time of asking for Brandon Thompson. Quick look at the try again there, just through the hands of Landon Hayes to Robbie Kent, who dives over and touches down for Stirling County's second score.
Yeah, not the start that Watsonians would have wanted, but as I said, they've really not been in this game so far. No territory, no phases, really nothing going for Watsonians at the moment. Everything on the front foot for Stirling just now.
So this time Stirling County opt, rather than playing through the forwards from the restart, is to kick for touch up the stand side touch line. So this will be, I think, the first throw into the line out for Watsonians. Carl Davis, the hooker, just getting the call there from Harrison Courtney. A loose head prop taken cleanly at the front, off the top there. And to get it away smartly as Korteweg came through, and it's Lee Miller just takes that ball into contact himself on the Stirling County 10 metre line. Good quick ball. And again, just that pod of three forwards. And it's the hooker Carl Davis who takes it into contact on the 10 metre line. And then Joe Reynolds the inside centre, opts the kick. I think that's gone just a little bit too far. The chase there by the fullback, Jamie Forbes. But that ball just beat him to it, went over the try line, and easy for Stirling County to deal with. And Stirling County not hanging about, just taking the quick 22 there. Goes behind Landon Hayes to one of the forwards. Kortweg just calling the shots there and organising the forwards. Opts the kick here. Again, gone a little bit too far, so they won't be able to challenge for that, Stirling County. Watsonians have got time just to weigh up the options here. And it's Lee Miller. Spies a bit of space in behind the back three there for Stirling County. It's Brandon Thompson back. Started at fullback last week. As I said earlier, he's been switched to stand-off today. Sends a long kick up the stand-side touchline. Once again, doesn't find touch. Good footwork there by the Watsonians fullback Jamie Forbes. Takes it into contact, centre field, so options both ways. And again, Watsonians looking just to get some territory here, trying to find touch. That one does sit up just short of the try line. And Stirling County send this one again up the stand side touchline. Look to get it out of play, and it will be a throw into the line out for Watsonians on the Stirling County 10-metre line. Yeah,
a bit of kicking ping pong there by both teams, and obviously I don't really think either side's benefited too much from the territory gain there. But at least Watsonians are getting a bit of a foothold into the Stirling half, so encouraging from a Watsonians point of view.
So still Watsonians 0, Stirling County 12. We'll play just over 10 minutes of this one, and again good pressure there to number 9s. And Murray Scott in today for a start. Gets the ball away just in time, and still Watsonians in possession. Lee Miller had to reach for that one. Dinks a little kick over the top, chased by the winger. However, the referee was playing an advantage. Stirling County offside at the line out, and deciding no advantage to Watsonians, so come back for a penalty.
Offside, ball hadn't left the line out before he moved forward.
Just explaining to the Stirling County forwards there that the ball hadn't left the line out when the player moved forward.
Yeah, it's good communication by the referee, and at least the players in the Stirling County team will know what the penalty was for, and they can maybe avoid that in future lineouts. So good communication on behalf of the referee.
So the first real opportunity here for Watsonians, desperate to get themselves back into this game. And again, the loose head prop Harrison Courtney comes across and explains or tells Carl Davis, the hooker, what the call is. 6-man line out. It was mistake there though. It's Stirling County who have this ball inside their 22. Just looking to box kick that. There wasn't a lot of protection there from the Stirling County forwards, but good work there. Finds touch. It's down in front of us here, and it was Loman McPherson. Watsonians 14 just had a thought whether he should throw in quickly there, but the good chase by Stirling County, and a waste of a position really for Watsonians.
Yes, really, it was a line out, you know, well inside the Stirling 22, and the throw went awry. So need a bit of work to do on that. Watsonians line out hasn't been functioning too well this season so far, but let's hope they get it sorted.
Well, they've gone to the back there,
lost
so
it again.
A difficult one, and got hands to it but couldn't take it cleanly. So once again Stirling County with possession from a Watsonians line out, and away goes Adam Ash, proving to be a bit of a handful so far. The referee playing an advantage here for Stirling County. Brandon Thompson has a quick look up, spies some space in behind. That's a fantastic kick there, goes into touch just 5 metres out from the Watsonians try line. However, the referee decides that doesn't constitute advantage. He comes back.
Tackler not releasing.
Just explaining again that the tackler not releasing there, but once again you're not coming from stolen possession or lost possession at the Watsonians line out.
Yeah, indeed, and actually, you know, that's a tough call for the referee to make. You know, would Stirling rather have had the 5 metre line out or the penalty back on the 45 metre line, and he's going for goal. So I'm sure, having seen that first driving line out where they scored the first try from, they might have fancied the 5 metre line out rather than the kick goal. But that's a good decision by the referee, actually.
So just a reminder, 2 tries for Stirling County, one when the game was barely 2 minutes old. One of them converted by Brandon Thompson. He's just lining up a kick here from about 45 metres or so on the angle. So certainly not an easy one. I suspect from what we've seen so far he will have the distance, just whether he has the accuracy from here. Just as one last glance up at the posts. Maybe didn't catch that one quite as cleanly as his previous two. And off target with that one, picked up there by Watsonians. All action number 7, Connor Boyle, the open side flanker. Makes good ground there, takes it up towards the 22. Lee Miller positions himself behind the ruck and finds a good touch. Again, just down in front of us, midway between the Watsonians 10 and halfway.
Yeah, Stirling's throwing this time though, so they will be on the front foot from this line out, you would expect.
Just a quick chat among the Stirling County forwards. The line out certainly functioned better than the Watsonians one so far. Looking like they were stacking up at the front. They go to the back though, off the top there to Courtaweg, and crashed up by the forwards, and again just round the corner. That's a good tackle there. James Pow driven back. Still Stirling County in possession. Centre field. Once again Pow takes it into contact. Watsonians just organising themselves quickly in defence round the breakdown. Stirling County making ground every time they carry. The referee again playing an advantage. And just explaining there that Lewis Berg, I think, the guilty party there, just not rolling away from the tackle.
Just getting in the way of Stirling releasing the ball away from that ruck, so quite rightly penalised. Gives Stirling another kick to touch, where they'll hopefully be, no, he's missed touch, so Sonian drop out probably.
A bit
or scrum back.
Yes, correct. They've taken the scrum option, and a bit of a let off there for Watsonians. Stirling County were looking for a carbon copy of that early try. Maybe just tried to be a little bit too greedy, trying to find a touch 5 metres out. They knew they'd already scored their first try from that position. Perhaps a little overexcited, so Watsonians scrum feed. Just over on that far side of the pitch from where we're standing, at the back of the stand here at Myerside.
Scrum's been pretty even so far in the game. No side really getting much go forward or impetus in the scrum area. So fully expecting Sonians to get this one back.
And it comes then from Murray Scott. You're absolutely correct. Doing a good solid scrum there. Finds his half-back partner Lee Miller, who sends that one as high as he can. Again, perhaps just a little bit too far. I thought that might have been marked. It looked to me just inside the 22, but the Stirling County fullback Josh Henderson finds a good touch again up over halfway, and I suspect that Lee Miller was looking to take a little bit off of that and give his chasers a chance there.
Yeah, he just gave the fullback a bit too much time to clear his lines, and he's done very well. He's got back into the Watsonian half. Watsonian line out. Let's see if this one functions a bit better.
So Carl Davis perhaps feeling under a bit of pressure here. Lots of movement, and maybe too much movement for him there. He just finds the fingertips of his jumper, and for the third consecutive line out, Stirling County come up with what should have been Watsonians' ball. And again, quickly out to the forwards. This time they release out the back though, and there's space over in that far touchline. Doesn't find the hands of the intended player. The referee saying a knock on, and then gathered by a man in front. And so that is just seeing that on our replay, a long looping pass. They realised that there was space over on the far side, perhaps tried to rush it.
That was unfortunate. There was 3 Stirling men in space there. It was a good scoring opportunity they had there. Just squandered by a knock on, unfortunately.
And once again from Watsonians' line out. So
indeed,
they're obviously hoping for better here, because they've once again taken the option to go up that touch line. So it'll be a Watsonians line out, and the forwards are just having a chat here. Something simple is maybe in order here. There's been lots of movement and ball to the back, and they maybe need to just give hooker Carl Davis something simple and get him a bit of confidence.
Yeah, indeed. They just need to get Sonny's just need to get their hands on the ball and get it through a few phases. They've really still not been in this game yet, and we're 18 minutes in.
Watsonians 0, Stirling County 12. The ball on this occasion taken cleanly in the line out by Watsonians. A good attacking opportunity. The referee playing an advantage. That looked like a high tackle. I think we'll be playing an advantage closer to the post here. Long ball thrown out, a little bit of space in the 15. This little lobbed pass there to the winger. Loman McPherson takes play to 5 or 6 metres short of that Stirling County try line. Referee still playing an advantage, taken in by Harrison Courtney. Lee Miller again, he's got the option of 2 forwards, throws it out the back there though, and maybe a little bit rushed there by fullback Jamie Forbes. He knew that the referee was playing an advantage. The referee just, I think he was probably playing three different ones, so he'll be offering Watsonians whatever they think is the most advantageous position here.
Yeah, indeed, this is really the first time Watsonians have had any kind of possession or territory in the Stirling 22, so they'll be looking to kick this for a 5-metre line out, and hoping the line out works better and they can maybe get a similar try to Stirling got when it inside the first 2 minutes of the game.
So the Watsonians, Lee Miller, the captain, that's what he has to do, and just taps that ball into touch 5 metres out from the Stirling County try line. So we're in the diagonal corner from where Stirling County scored from this position, a line out 5 metres out. And this time Watsonians go for 6 men in the line out, and Mesu Kunavula, the Fijian Sevens player, standing off in that scrum half position, but he'll come in and drive forward. The hooker Carl Davis does his job this time and comes round, takes that ball at the back from Kunavula, and Watsonians get that driving towards the line there. They're very, very close. The referee on the spot says they're short, so Watsonians in trying to recycle this one. Will they attack again through the forwards? Will they have a go through the backs? Scrum half there, Murray Scott just moving the troops around. That's his centre and winger to come across onto this blind side just to try and attract some defenders across to there, I think. But the referee, a loud blast on the whistle.
Might be a
looks
card
like he's going to his pocket,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, as soon as you get into that red zone, you can't give away penalties, and the referee's obviously decided that was a deliberate act, so has sent a Stirling player to the sin bin.
Just trying to see which player it is that's coming up the touchline in front of us here. So we have a scrum now, and it'll be an underpowered Stirling County scrum, you would expect. It's their number 4, James Pow. Certainly been involved
Front rows, come on.
carrying this afternoon. That Stirling County scrum might just be a little lightweight now. It's a great opportunity here for Watsonians, still trailed by those 12 points, just over the midway point in this first half.
This is now a crucial phase of the game for Sonians with Stirling down to 14 men. They have to capitalise on this.
So initially I would think have a go in this scrum, see if they can get that 7-man Stirling County scrum going backwards. And we've got something set up in the back line. They're not getting a lot of go forward in the scrum initially. Starting to wheel a little bit, so they decide to go through the backs. It goes straight there to outside centre. Lewis Berg crashes up towards the line. They're a metre or so short. Round the corner come the forwards. Stirling County just about clinging on to that tackle there. Pile into the breakdown. It's still on the Watsonian side, so options both ways. Lee Miller, the standoff on this side, up to use the forwards on the left hand side, and Carl Davis, the hooker, skips out the first tackle. Stopped short again by Stirling County. It's a good tackle.
Turnover's good.
In fact, turnover, we can hear over the referee's mic there. Turned over by Stirling County. So if they can clear their lines here once again. Watsonians a little bit wasteful of a position. However, that ball's been kicked and doesn't go out, doesn't even make it out of the 22. So, and I think off feet there at the breakdown by one of the Stirling County players. The referee does indicate that was the infringement. So turned over initially by Stirling County. However, Watsonians still in possession in the 22, and it looks like Miller will once again go for the corner.
Yeah, a massive disappointment for Sonians to lose the ball in that contact situation right in the Stirling line. So they'll be very annoyed with that. But anyway, here you go with a 5-metre line out. They've got another chance.
So failed to make anything from the line out over on the stand side. There's a chance from the same position over on the other side. Once again, Carl Davis to throw in. The same setup in the line out, 6 men in. The blind side, Kunavula, the Edinburgh player, in the scrum half position, and once again comes in and takes that ball. We'll move it to the back to Carl Davis. This one looks a little bit better set. Stirling County stop it initially though,
Use it now.
and the referee instructs Watsonians to use it. So once again, Lewis Baird comes in on an angle, takes it off the scrum half, stopped 5 metres out from that Stirling County try line. And slow ball here, so they just try and attack through the forwards.
Ball's always there.
Tighten up that defence.
Use.
He's taking their time, pick and go then from the Watsonians forwards. Just making sure man is latched. Connor Boyle comes in, the open side, gets his arms over the ball carrier just to help drive him forward.
No, 7 now.
Once again, the referee telling Stirling County to get out of there. They're getting very, very close here, Watsonians. And again, the latch comes on and try to drive towards that line, just inching across towards the post. Dive for the base of the posts. And I think that ball, it has been knocked on, yes. So the Watsonians player, he looked like he was just trying to dive for the base of the posts. I think that's Brian Leach, the Watsonians number 4, the man who had to go at the try line. That ball has been knocked on. And Stirling County survive. In fact, no, it's his second row partner, I think, Jamie Hodgson.
Yeah.
And
Scotland under 20 player signed in Edinburgh's books at the moment. So been spending a lot of time training with Edinburgh. Really unfortunate to lose ball and contact at that stage of the game.
Rick is down. Yeah, still another 5 minutes.
Seeing this on the replay here. Watsonians in a great position. He had the Stirling County defence under pressure, and he did in fact just dive at the base of the post, which of course is a try. But, a big contact there by Stirling County and just dislodged the ball. Yeah,
Stirling's defence been very impressive so far in this first half. This is where Sonians want to be playing their rugby in the Stirling 22, but Stirling are denying them at the moment with some very fierce defence.
Stirling County certainly the more clinical of the two sides so far. Scored when the game was only 2 minutes old from a driven line out, 5 metres out from the Watsonians line, and then a break around centre field by standoff Brandon Thompson. And they finished that off well through their outside centre. Robbie Kent. Watsonians have had several opportunities now in this Stirling County 22 with misthrown lineouts and turnover ball, and then a knock on there just as the player was diving for the line, unable to make anything of it, and they still trailed Watsonians 0, Stirling County 12, with about 15 minutes left to play in this first half. So when it comes in, remember, still a man short in that scrum. Stirling County, very solid, picked up at the base by Adam Ash, feeds it to his centre, just wriggles a metre or two forward and get themselves organised for the kick there. The referee says that number 12, Joe Reynolds, a little bit over-eager with the chase and caught offside.
This will give Stirling County a good opportunity to get away from their own 22 and obviously relieve the pressure on their own try line.
Again, just a quick discussion probably around what they're going to do from this, assuming it makes touch. It's the Watsonians players looked a little excited for a second there that they might be able to keep that one in, but in the end unable to. Again, just seeing the replay there,
a very decent touch finder there from Brandon Thompson. Yeah,
it's gone a long way. The line out for Stirling County on the far side of the pitch from where we're stationed, and the near side in terms of where our camera position is.
Okay.
Yeah, suddenly we're 60 metres away from where Watsonians gave that penalty away, and very disappointing from their point of view. But Stirling now back on the front foot in Watsonians half.
So Raynor Kennedy, the Stirling County captain and hooker, throws into the line out into the midfield, and the offload there just not going to hand, and it's been snapped up by Mesu Kunavula. Takes it into contact just on the Watsonian side of halfway, so Watsonians this time with possession. Away goes Connor Boyle and fights off Korteweg, looks for support, finds it, and Watsonians now have gone 40 metres or so back up into the Stirling County 22. Referee playing an advantage. The Stirling County player coming round the breakdown there and away over to that far side. Left wing Angus Guthrie in possession. In come the Watsonians forwards. Up goes the flag into touch on the far side. The referee says no advantage and will come back for a penalty to Watsonians.
Offside.
So offside there, Stirling County. And I imagine that Watsonians will once again try their luck with a line out 5 metres or so out from this Stirling County try line. But Lee Miller, the captain, just steps up, very nonchalant. Maybe not quite the accuracy, he's about 6 or 7 metres out from the try line, but another great attacking opportunity for Watsonians. What can they make of this one?
Well, the line-out has not been great for Sunnies in this first half, and let's hope they can just make this a wee bit more clinical and get some drive in behind it, and maybe get a score before half time.
So Davis finds his man at the front. And again, the maul set by Watsonians. Again, getting some good go forward here. It looks like Adam Ash has come through the middle there for Stirling County. The referee sent him away back though. And Watsonians still going forward. It's a little bit untidy. The referee playing an advantage. Watsonians very close, and the referee has awarded the try. Good drive this time by Watsonians. He's just trying to see the last man up. It is the hooker, Carl Davis. He's had a difficult afternoon so far. He's missed several line-outs, but he found his man and in the line-out there. Round into the position the hooker normally takes up at the back with them all. Got the ball into his hands, and the forwards did a great job there. Driven over, and Watsonians at last get themselves into this game. We've played 28 minutes, but it's Watsonians 5, Stirling County 12.
Just shows how important first phase possession is, and you know, Sunnies have been struggling for it all this first half. And then they have a 5 metre line, they win the line out, and just drive it simply over the line. A few backs joining in there. Joe Reynolds, the centre, was in helping the forwards push it over the line, so he'll probably take some credit for that as well.
No doubt, yes. So captain Lee Miller, he's kicked a few conversions, one notably at the Green Yards a couple of weeks ago to snatch a victory. Watsonians trailing 13-0 that day, but the conversion by Miller seeing Watsonians home by 14-13 that day. So he's eyeing up the posts here. Catches that. Maybe not his best kick, and I think that's just in fact it's come back off the upright there. So Miller unable to add the extras, but Watsonians will feel a little bit better about themselves now. Carl Davis, the try scorer.
Yeah, definitely. It's a boost for Sunnians, but they've been second best this whole first half. So let's hope that gets them a wee bit of confidence, and they need to get some territory back in the Stirling half.
So it'll be Stirling County through Brandon Thompson. In fact, no, it's not. It's the fullback Josh Henderson comes up, and he sent that one almost down the middle, perhaps across to his right into the 22. And Watsonians just send a long ball up that far touch line, up their left-hand touch line. It's a great touch finder again. Stirling County had a quick think about the throw in there. But, well, in fact, they have gone early. The referee, I don't think he'll allow that to go on. No, he doesn't. Brings it back. So the line out was set. So Stirling County then to throw into the line out, just around about their 10 metre line.
Guys, do you want to do quick? Let's just do it straight away.
Good touch finder there by Watsonians.
Very good touch finder. Must have gained 40-50 metres with that kick alone. So again, Sunnies now into Stirling's half, but still some way to go.
So Rainer Kennedy, the Stirling County captain and hooker, throws there under a bit of pressure, but taking in the line out, and Stirling County just run hard, look for the offload. Decides just to keep a hold of it there. Does the inside centre Landon Hayes, quickly recycled though. Now the forwards getting themselves involved. A little bit slow here, told to use it by the referee. Driven into contact there by Ollie Bartlett, big number 5, and now a bit of space down the stand side touchline, finds the winger kicked on there. He's appealing for something. He felt he was taken out. The referee's assistant agrees because he's put his flag out. So touchdown there by Watsonians. However, I think we're probably looking at a penalty back. The referee will have a quick word with his assistant.
Jamie Forbes could be in a bit of trouble here as well if that's deemed a potential try-saving barge that he put in on the Stirling County winger there. Then they're discussing with the referee the options at the moment. Not sure what they're going to come up with.
It's from the kick ahead by Logan Trotter, and it was. I can hear the The referee's assistant explaining that he changed lanes, by which
it's going to be a yellow card as well.
You can hold your line even if that means you're in front of the chasing player, but you can't move, as I say, out of the lane. You can't have a quick glance, see where he's running and step in front of him, which is exactly what he did.
Jamie Ford's pleading his innocence, as most players do when they get a yellow card. It's only natural for the player to do that, but I really don't think he can have many complaints about that.
So Watsonians will have to play out this half, the remainder of the half, with only 14 men. It's sometimes a difficult position to cover when your fullback has gone off. I'm just watching again on the replay as it was tidied up at the back there by Watsonians from the kick. But back we come for the penalty. So Stirling County will just put this into the corner. And again, Brandon Thompson finds a safe touch 5 metres out. So just a reminder that Stirling County scored from this position on the other side of the pitch, and the game was only 2 minutes old. They'll be looking to do the same here. It looks like they are setting up full line out. In fact, they've got the winger at the front of the line out there. I don't think it'll be going to him. So in it goes to the middle. Taken well, the referee playing an advantage here. So Stirling County tried to get this moving forward again, unable to do so. They didn't get themselves quite set, but they're going to get another chance at this because the referee said early contact before the ball was down there. So back it comes, and I think Brandon Thompson will just do exactly the same again and kick this into touch.
It's looking that way, definitely, yeah. They obviously feel they've got superiority in the line out, and I would have to probably agree with that in this first half.
Well, if they have to use this and go to the backs, they'll be running against a man less with that yellow card to Watsonians fullback Jamie Forbes. About 8 minutes or so left of the half. Still Watsonians 5, Stirling County 12. And this time to the front of the line out. Brought down, and they're set a little bit better here, although one of the Watsonians players, I think it's Nathan Burrell, has got himself in there in the way, making a nuisance of himself. And that has gone down. The referee says he's been taken down legally, so that will be turnover ball. And Watsonians survive, and good work. I think it was Burrell who seemed to get himself round on the wrong side and made it difficult. He has the referee just explaining he came through the middle, so he was legal. And that ball goes down, and if Stirling County took that in, unable to play the ball immediately, so Watsonians will feed their own scrum. Yeah,
tremendous work by Watsonians there, turning what was a maul for Stirling County into a turnover maul. Ball was kept up off the ground, and therefore Watsonians get the put in. So yeah, very useful piece of play for Watsonians there.
They've still got to get themselves out of here, and a bit of treatment to, looks like, I think it's Adam Ash. Yes, the Stirling County number 8, certainly been to the fore in the first half hour or so of this game.
Time back on.
He was maybe just getting I'm guessing he's got a cut or something on his head, because I think he was playing with the tape on his head earlier. He's just getting that replaced.
Yeah, I notice Adam Ash has gone for the Stuart Hogg blonde look. I haven't seen that being modelled on the top of Adam Ash's head recently, but Stuart Hogg and DTH Van der Merwe in Glasgow all going for the blonde look at the moment.
Kind of threw me at the start. I had Adam Ash on the team sheet, but I didn't think it looked very like him. But yeah, as you say, they're going for the peroxide look. Watsonians then into the scrum, 5 metres out from their line. Good steady scrum, and they'll use Lewis Berg just to crash that up. Tries to bounce off the first tackler. He's been caught a little bit high here. However, the referee says tackle. Stirling County trying to hold him up there and create a maul, turn the ball back over. A bit of pressure on the Watsonians kicker there, which just forces him to take a bit off the kick. Goes into touch just outside the Watsonians 22, and still a good attacking position here for Stirling County.
Yeah, that's a decent release by Watsonians, and right up to the 22-metre line. They were struggling there. They were within 5 metres of the line, 2 line-outs to Stirling. So yeah, Watsonians will feel quite pleased with that phase of play.
On the line, you guys on the line, you come in.
The referee just keeping the players right there in the line-out. He's trying to steal an advantage. It's Stirling County to throw in. Again, just keep it very simple, but their line-out has functioned well. However, good pressure and good tackle by Watsonians. Stirling County just get themselves a little bit go forward there. The referee says tackle. Watsonians players have to release. He'll just hit up once or twice through the forwards. Ball offloaded there by their loose head prop Charlie Brown, knocked on by Watsonians, so an advantage for Stirling County. And again looking for space in this stand side touchline, trying to get it out to Logan Trotter, unable to. The referee goes back. No advantage accruing for Stirling County, and it'll be a scrum feed to the visitors, centre field, midway between the Watsonians 22 and 10 metre line.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate for Sonny's there. He was going for the interception. Stirling were spilling the ball, and the Watsonian player just snatched at it and unfortunately knocked it on. Could have been an interception, in which case Sonny's would have been on the front foot and Stirling on the back foot, but as it is, it's the other way around.
Shot there of young referee Rory Campbell, assisted by Ross Maben and Samuel O'Neill today. He's certainly been in control of the game, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, no, I've been impressed with the communication of the referee. He's been talking to the players all the way through. There are no doubt about why he's giving his decisions, which is always useful for the players to learn from.
It's a great scrum position here for Stirling County, options both ways. The referee is not happy with that one, obviously. Just did a quick word again with the front rows, just moves them away across a metre or two. Pitch is in great condition, but I'm guessing it'll be a little bit soft underfoot.
Yeah, it's cutting up a wee bit now. We had a school semi-final here Friday afternoon, late afternoon. We had a Club 15 game yesterday, so you know the pitch is standing up really well, considering it rained all yesterday afternoon and most of the way through the night.
So Caleb Korteweg to put in Stirling County Scrum-Half. A good solid scrum there. Stirling County trying to get a bit of go forward there, and now they do, so they will keep that ball in. Adamash just keeps it at his feet. Referee plays an advantage, a little bit loose there by the number 8, however it's still Stirling County in possession. It's down the stand side 15 metre channel, taken into contact by Josh Henderson, recycled again and taken in there by James Powell. I think he was looking to release that, but there was he had his own players in the way, just angling in towards the breakdown there. Ollie Bartlett. The referee says no advantage again, and he'll go back for the penalty from the scrum. And the scrums have been fairly even, but Stirling County very much getting the upper hand there.
Yeah, suddenly Stirling got the impetus in that particular scrum. No idea really why. Front row arcs are a bit of a mystery to me, I'm afraid. So we just have to go with what we viewed, which was obviously Stirling getting the shove on and Sonny's crumpling behind to give away the penalty.
A mystery to you and me both. But the referee was there on the spot, and they certainly got some go forward, and they did well. Adamash kept it in just long enough to hear the referee shout that he was playing an advantage, and then, well, you might as well have a go, but it was just all a little bit untidy from that point on for Stirling County. Couldn't make anything of it. So back comes the referee, and this one should be fairly straightforward. I know about as much about kicking as I do about the front row arts, so
I know a wee bit more about goal
granted,
kicking.
yes.
I took some goal kicks for Sonny's back in the day, so.
So Brandon Thompson, the man tasked with this, right out in front. He catches that cleanly. Once again, the referee's assistants have a quick glance at each other, but that cleanly through the post, and Stirling County have not scored for a while. They led 12-0. Watsonians got themselves back into it with that try, but Stirling County extend their lead out to 10 points. It's Watsonians 5, Stirling County 15 with a couple of minutes left of the half.
Yeah, as we move towards half-time, it's definitely been Stirling County's half, not just by the scoreline, but by the possession, by the territory, by every indicator going. It's been a good half from Stirling County.
So the restart there into the Stirling County 22. They opt to kick it long. I think they were looking for touch, but kept in really well there by Loman McPherson. And then kicked again by Watsonians over to that far touchline, or the near touchline, I should say, from where our camera is stationed. It's with Stirling County. Again, just looking to keep that ball alive, and when they carry, they just certainly make ground. However, turnover by Watsonians. A chance here, could be a bit of space on this, our stand side touchline. Lee Miller, though, has a little look up the sides. There's nothing doing, he just threads the ball down that 15-metre channel and drops back expecting the return kick, which came, but it didn't come his way. Not caught cleanly there by Robbie Kent, the Stirling County outside centre. He does find a safe touch just around about the Stirling County 10-metre line. So with the clock coming going over the 40-minute mark, you hear the hooter there. So last play of this half, can Watsonians
Stirling on your mark.
get themselves another score? Just that one try so far for their efforts in this half. And again, misfunctioning or misfiring line out, knock on through there, the line out, and all a bit of an anticlimax at the end of the half there. Disappointment for Watsonians.
Yes, yet another lost line out by Watsonians at the half-time whistle there. Very disappointing from their point of view. There'll be a bit of chat about that in the changing room, I'm sure, at half-time, and let's hope they get it sorted for the second half.
So the players just heading up the tunnel down in front of us just to get themselves little team talk there. Watsonians Rugby 5, Stirling County 15, the half-time score. So the coaches will have plenty to say, I think, at half-time. Perhaps the Watsonians coaches in particular.
Yeah, surprisingly, Sunnies have had poor first halves in both their games in the Super 6 competition so far. They were poor against Melrose in the first half, and Melrose were 6-0 up, but could have been 15-0 up if Melrose had taken a few kicks at goal. And last week at Golden Acre, Heriots were definitely on top first half. Sunnies came out strong in the second. So, you know, let's hope they can do that today, because we really want them to make a game of it.
So we'll have a quick recap of the first half. 3 tries. The game was barely 2 minutes old when Stirling County kicked to the corner, a line out 5 metres out from the Watsonians try line, got themselves set and drove over there. The referee had to work hard to get himself in a position.
Yeah, the first camera angle showed it quite clearly that they grounded the ball over the line.
And then from the break in midfield there by Brandon Thompson, just a little bit loose defence, and he had options both ways. It was great support play by Stirling County. There's 2 players to his left, 2 to the right. I think he took the right option, and it went through the hands of the inside centre there, Landon Hayes, and Robbie Kent, the outside centre, the try scorer.
Yeah, definitely. Both centres realised what was happening very early on and got outside his right shoulder to support him.
And then the Watsonians try from a similar position, diagonal corner from where Stirling County drove over their line out. The line out didn't work well in the first half, but that one, they found their man, they got themselves well set, and it was the hooker, Burrell, who drove over, touches down there. Carl Davis, sorry, not Burrell, had touched down for Watsonians. So they struggled, trailed by 12 points to 0, but they've got themselves back, and as you say, they've not had good first halves, so they'll not be overly concerned at this stage. So, half time then, it's a reminder, Watsonians 5, Stirling County 15. It's always good to hear insights from the players. So we're going to hear now from Gavin, who spoke earlier to Stirling County's Connor Gordon.
Okay, so
Connor, to start with, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your rugby journey so far?
Yeah, so born in Rotorua and then grew up in a small rural town just south of there, now south, called Galatea. So it's just a small farming community, mostly dairy farmers. Played rugby there for Galatea all the way through, playing our games in Rotorua. So yeah, playing with that with my 3 brothers, all the same age as me because I'm a triplet. So always kicking a ball around. Dad eventually put up a rugby post outside our house, and so we used to just play drop goals. Or I can remember a time where my parents organised a rugby game between all our friends. So we kind of mowed a big patch of the paddock off, and then set up. Dad got the paint out and put some lines out, and we all had a big rugby game, and then had a big feed afterwards. So it's pretty cool. Most people play rugby. You get pressured pretty hard to play rugby. It's like a religion. you know, you'll be playing rugby before school, at break, after school, then go to training, and then you'll be, you know, watching Super Rugby or Mitre 10 Rugby, you know, on that Saturday night and playing, you know, that Saturday. So you're doing it all the time, and if you're bored, you're just passing a ball between a mate. So you've always got a rugby ball in your hand. You
mentioned there that you're one of 3 and you've got an older brother as well. So must have been quite a competitive background growing up. Yeah, always trying to fight to get ahead of each other and always fighting, I guess. And then, yeah, as we got older, just kind of got along with each other a lot more. But yeah, so I was played rugby mostly with my 2 brothers growing up, and then when we got to high school, we kind of like split off, started playing in different teams, and then I got to play with Thomas for the first time when I was year 11. Played 1 year in the first 15 together, so that was cool. We got to be either side, flanking either side, which was nice. And you mentioned your brother Thomas Gordon, the Glasgow Warriors player. Is it nice to be back around with him? Yeah, so I'm living with him, so this is the longest time I've spent with him since he's left. So 2016, he comes back every year, but I haven't seen him for longer than 2-3 days at a time, so it's pretty nice. Yeah, I guess you could say he's an inspiration. He's probably someone that I look up to. I don't really want to tell him, but I'm chasing him, and so I always kind of look at him like, oh, hey, you're looking bigger, so I need to get bigger, or I'll watch his game and then go, oh, I'm going to do that. So he's definitely, you know, the older brother that you try to take off that pedestal. So yeah, no, it's cool to watch him succeed and see how far he gets, which would be pretty cool. And yeah, hopefully I can follow suit. So alongside your rugby, you're also studying, is that right? What is it that you're studying? Agricultural science at Lincoln University. So it's a predominantly agricultural based university, and so it's a 4-year degree, so I'm nearly finished. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but definitely trying to finish my degree. Got this far, so might as well get it done. What was the kind of decision-making process behind coming over to Stirling and playing in the Super 6? I'd always kind of thought, oh, I want to come over to Scotland at some point, but I was still saying to myself, oh, I'll finish my degree back home and then I'll look at going overseas if nothing pops up in New Zealand. And because my brother's here, that kind of gave me a little path where I could put my name out there through my brother. And then he kind of got word to Ben Cairns, who was his old coach, and Ben got in touch with me about this and kind of said, are you interested in coming over? And told me about the Super 6 competition that's starting up, and thought about it and I thought, oh yeah, no, that'd be cool. So yeah, and here I am. That was pretty much it. I just kind of said, yep, I'll go. So in terms of the Super 6, how are you settling into life at Stirling County? It's been a great start to the season with that first win at Megaland against Boroughmuir. Yeah, so that was my first introduction to Scottish rugby, which was last weekend against Boroughmuir. It's a bit different. It's a lot colder playing at night, and a lot more physical probably. A lot more just straight up runners and big collisions, and that's kind of the classic Northern Hemisphere type rugby. There's a lot more focus on defence, so everyone's just in the line and it's just up and just big hit. I've only played half an hour of rugby at the moment, so I guess my understanding of the Scottish style will change. Different style of rugby compared to New Zealand, and then playing for Stirling, which is a great opportunity. It's a great club, and getting to know all the boys, really good lads, and so I'm looking forward to how well we can do this season. So we're looking pretty strong.
The deadline for your Royal Bank Rugby Force application is approaching fast. Make sure your club doesn't miss out.
As we face uncertain times, we are certain of this. We are a country that looks out for each other. Older people, those at risk, the self-isolating. They're our family, our friends, our neighbours, the folk that live upstairs. Shopping, prescriptions, taking out bins. Lending a hand means everyone wins. Even a wee phone for a natter lets people know they matter. Through a million acts of kindness, we'll show that we are Scotland. If you are fit and well, find out how to help safely at readyscotland.org.
It's the first time I've been in charge of a ladies team. Be gentle with me, please. So things that we're doing in tonight's session, we do with Scotland and did with Glasgow. So we're ready to go? Yeah. Excellent, okay.
One of our forwards, Leslie, she entered the competition on Facebook and she just messaged into our WhatsApp group like, you'll never guess what, Gregor's coming along. And we were just so excited for him to come along and take a session. We're going to learn so much.
I thought it was like a wee prank on Facebook, and then when we started getting the emails through, it all got a wee bit real and we got extremely excited.
Rugby's a brilliant sport because you can form real strong social bonds, but also in terms of getting exercise and working hard. And you seem like a real strong team, so thank you. Thanks guys. Cheers.
So just a reminder then of the half-time score here at Myerside. It's Watsonians Rugby 5, Stirling County 15. Just touching on what we said earlier about the coaches, what will be said in those changing rooms?
Well, it'll be two completely different conversations that will be going on in each changing room. Fergus Pringle, the Watsonian coach, will be asking Watsonian players to just get the ball through a few phases. They've not really built any momentum. You can't do that unless you can retain the ball and move it through a few phases. They also need to get territory because, as I said at half-time, I thought Stirling have dominated every phase of this game so far. Ben Cairns, the Stirling County coach, will have a slightly easier team talk. I'm sure he'll be wanting just more of the same from half-time onwards. And Adam Ash is certainly exerting his professional expertise on this game. He's carried a lot of ball, made a lot of ground, and also Brandon Thompson at 10. So two of Stirling's 3 pros are certainly having a big influence on this game. Kunavalu, the Watsonians pro, not such a big influence so far, but who knows what's happening in the second half.
Both sides have strong benches and will no doubt go to those players maybe sooner rather than later. Yeah, it's very much a feature of Super 6, a very strong squad of 35 players in all. So the opportunity is there to bring the bomb squad, as South Africa used to call them during the World Cup, or the finishers, as Eddie Jones, the England coach, refers to them as. And certainly, I would say in Super 6, probably more so than in any other level of Scottish rugby to date, you can guarantee your bench players are going to make an impact when they come on. 23-man squad, so of course 8 players, you can just about replace half your team, so it keeps everything, energy high, intensity high as well, and ensures high quality games right through the 80 minutes. Yeah, it does, and fresh legs coming onto the field inspires the players that are staying on the field as well, because they suddenly get a bit of go forward and a bit of extra ball that they've not had in that first half, and suddenly their games are transformed sometimes by new legs coming on as well. I'm just going to take a quick chance to remind you that at Scotstoun this afternoon, the Scotland women were in action up against Japan. Sadly lost narrowly, 20 points to 24. 4 tries, the first score for Megan Gaffney, the winger, and then Lisa Coburn, the prop, in the first half. So it was 10 apiece at half-time. And then Megan Gaffney scoring the third try, so a brace for her. Rachel Malcolm, the hooker and captain, with the 4th try, but obviously no successful conversions, and that ultimately I think has been the difference between the sides. But I'm told a good showing by the Scotland women today. Scotland women 20 and Japanese women 24. So just back here to Myerside. The grounds people, will they be called, out there on the pitch with their forks, just tidying up any areas we mentioned earlier. It's we've had a lot of rain lately. It will be wet underfoot. The pitch beginning to cut up a little bit. It's in good condition.
It is. It's been known over the years as a really good rugby track. But as I said, the rain yesterday during our Club 15 game against Boroughmuir was very unfortunate, and obviously 3 games in 3 days will knock the life out of most grass pitches. So we're not as fortunate as the Southern Knights down at Greenyards now, having a fully artificial surface. But we're certainly making the best of this grass surface.
So another quick look at our 3 tries from that first half. And this, in fact, the third try. This is the Watsonians' solitary try.
Yeah,
We've got that line out, driving forward.
Splintered Stirling defence, and Sonny's capitalised on it.
The dummy there by Brandon Thompson, just through the Watsonians defence, went through the gap and found his centres. Second half just about to get underway. Stirling County, the first side of visitors to re-emerge from their changing rooms. So they will now head away off to the right as you're looking at it from our camera. They're stationed in the opposite side of the pitch, up at the back of the big stand here at Myerside, which is certainly well filled. Lots of people on the other side of the pitch as well. The crowd numbers have been good so far in the Super 6, and here come the home side Watsonians.
Sonny's will be definitely looking to start this second half, first 10 minutes with a lot of territory possession and moving it through the phases. They need to get back into this game very quickly in the second half, otherwise the game could run away from them.
Out come the officials again. Just a reminder, the referee Rory Campbell, and he's assisted today by Ross Maben and Samuel O'Neill. So it will be Watsonians captain Lee Miller to get the second half underway. Just waiting on instruction from the referee.
Time on.
And off we go, second half underway then. That's a high hanging restart by Lee Miller. Perhaps just a metre or two too far for his forwards to get there, so taken cleanly by Stirling County. Again, just on their 22. Scrum-Half Korteweg just feeds a little pod of forwards there, sets up the position for the kick, decides to take on kicking duties himself. He had the option of his standoff behind him, opts to kick himself. So gathered by Watsonians on the Stirling County side of halfway. And there goes Kunavula. He mentioned in half time there he maybe hadn't had the effect on the game that the 2 professionals in the Stirling County ranks had. So he makes the first carry there. However, when it comes out to the MAC division, they opt to kick again for territory. It's kicked out in the full. And here goes Stirling County. The quick throw in there caught Watsonians napping, and Connor Boyle has to go back and tidy up there with the red scrum cap on. And Watsonians open side flanker. So Watsonians from a good position, trying to find touch down the stand side touchline, suddenly find themselves defending 10 metres out, or with possession 10 metres or so out from their own try line, but under pressure.
Sonny is caught napping there by the Stirling County line out, but now defending their own line.
Again, that kick doesn't go out, and a chance for Stirling County to attack. The left wing there, Logan Trotter getting himself involved. And recycled there by Stirling County, so working their way up towards that Watsonians 22. Back it comes again to Thompson, important cog in the Stirling County team. Again, just threaded through there, finds a touch inside the Watsonians 22. So again, just going back to a mistake. We spoke about the line out in the first half. This time it was a kick that went out in the full and then caught napping with a quick throw in by Stirling County, and suddenly they find themselves again in their 22.
Yeah, just basic errors at the moment, still from Sonians. Was hoping that the half-time talk might have given them a bit of inspiration, but we're now back on our own 22. It's our line out. Let's see if this functions better.
And it comes then again to the front man from Carl Davis, the hooker.
That's one side.
Looks like it will be the kick. Kicking duties taken on by Murray Scott. And he finds a good touch just on the sand side of the field, around about the Watsonians 10 metre line. So Stirling County captain Rainer Kennedy is down right in front of where we're standing. We'll throw in two shortened line out, 5-man line out, so with two forwards out there in the back line. However, a mistake there. Didn't get the call right, I don't think, and unable to tidy it up. Watsonians get hands to it, however, knock on, and that's just typical of Watsonians' afternoon so far.
Yeah, just not getting the break of the ball at all there. Stirling a poor line out, right over the top, and Conor Boyle unfortunately just not getting on as he tried to gather it on the ground.
Yes, you can just see the replay there, just lost control of the ball. So scrum then to Stirling County. Again, just instructions coming back from Scrum-Half Caleb Korteweg there. Sticks the ball in front of his mouth so the Watsonians players don't hear.
Sit!
Again, a good solid scrum there for Stirling County. They try and get that moving forward. The referee says to play it just as the scrum wheels round. The referee will reset this one, but Stirling County, we said earlier in the first half, the scrums had been fairly even. There was one scrum in particular that I think it was when Stirling County kicked their penalty from. That came from a scrum, and again, just signs that they're maybe just getting an edge in the scrum.
Yeah,
here.
just slight edge, I would say. Just looking at that last scrum, Sonny's going backwards a wee bit. Obviously, the scrum wheeled, so the referee's got to restart. Let's see how this one goes.
Michael Badenhorst down in front of us, just stripping off, so I think this will be a change for Watsonians. However, back to the action. Scrum for Stirling County. 15 metres or so in from the stand side touchline, so Watsonians will play away to their Stirling will play away to their left here. And it goes, nice little move there. And the right winger comes into the line there and gets some good go forward. Ewan McGarvey, ball recycled quickly, and that looked like it was forward anyway, I think, but certainly knocked on by Stirling County. So Watsonians playing an advantage here. Right, it comes to the back line. Lee Miller again has a little look, decides to put boot to ball, sees space in behind there. It's a long kick into the Stirling County 22. A decent return there by Stirling County, with a quick throw in here though. Josh Henderson, it's the fullback Jamie Forbes, and Ewan, you look absolutely disgusted.
Yeah, that's just a basic error again, and it's cost Sonians 40-50 metres back deep in their own half again. So just the sort of errors that you're not expecting to see from the standard of Super 6 players.
So here comes the change that we mentioned, and it's the blindside flanker Mesu Kunavula, Fijian Sevens player. Got his chance in the back row today, taking over from James Miller, released by Edinburgh.
Yeah, as I said at half time, Kunavula probably not exerting the influence on the Watsonians team that Adam Ash has influenced on the Stirling County team, in my opinion. Adam Ash getting a lot of go forward ball and giving Stirling a platform with which they can work from and move the ball through the phases. Sonny's just not able to build phases at all at the moment.
So we'll see what sort of impact Michael Badenhorst can have for Watsonians, but it will be Stirling County in possession again from the scrum, and again they just get it moving forward. Opt to play it though. And again the right winger coming in, and as first receiver there, and bursting clean through the line there was Josh Henderson for Stirling County. threw the long pass out to the left wing, but the referee says it was forward.
That's the last 2 or 3 times Stirling have had the ball with some intriguing back moves, and that time sliced right through the Watsonian defence. Fortunately for Sonians, it was called a forward pass, but some spectacular back moves. One before that was a double looping move where the standoff went on a dummy loop, and it went to the right winger before he made some ground. So yeah, some quite enterprising back play from Stirling County. Good to see.
Yes, using Ewan Garvey there, the right winger as first receiver in the last 2 plays from the set piece. And there was a great chance for Logan Trotter on the left wing there, but the referee deciding it was a forward pass, and it's a scrum feed here for Watsonians. Change it at scrum half as well. It's Rowan Frostwick, who started last week. He's on in the second half for Watsonians. That's a long kick there. And Stirling County again, think about the quick throw in.
Tremendous touch finder by Sonians there. Tremendous touch finder. That's gone all of 60, 70 metres down the park.
The kicking hasn't always been impeccable for Watsonians today. However, as you say, Ewan, that's a fantastic kick there. And find a position 15 or so metres out from the Stirling County try line. It will be a Stirling County throw, of course, to the line out, but important for Watsonians just to get some territory here and try and put some pressure on the Stirling County line out. It's functioned pretty well. Made one mistake so far in the second half. Take that one cleanly though.
Out now, out now.
And again, they're well set there, just driving forward up towards their 22. Looks like Scrum-Half will again take on the kicking duties himself. That's charged down there by the Watsonians vice captain. It was Innes, I think, there, but away comes Stirling County, and the kick and chase here. It's Brandon Thompson, and a foot into touch there by the Watsonians player. Went all the way back into his 22. I think that was Loman McPherson. And again, it's end-to-end stuff here. A chance for Watsonians just to apply a bit of pressure to Stirling County, albeit they didn't have the ball, and then suddenly they find themselves back in their own 22.
Yeah, some better rugby for this sizable crowd to watch today, I have to say. Two great back moves by Stirling County. Sonians 70-metre kick out from their own 22, but suddenly they're back there again.
So the line out then, just outside that Watsonians 22. Taken one-handed there, wasn't the perfect throw. But again, get themselves set. There's some Watsonians players legally round on the wrong side there, just to make it difficult. And Stirling County can't get the ball moving forward. The referee just speaking to the Watsonians players there, telling them to go back. It looks like Morgan Innes, the Watsonians vice captain, in there making a nuisance of himself. But away go Stirling County, and using that right winger there. Recycled in the 22. Referee playing an advantage, and it's Ash once again who clatters into contact. Stirling County about 10 metres short of the try line. And the big loose head prop, Murphy Walker. The referee still playing an advantage. The ball goes loose. And Stirling County managed to keep a hold of possession. Pick and go round the side of the breakdown there. They catch the Watsonians defence napping. They'll only be 3 or 4 metres short now. The referee says no advantage there, and back he comes. Just having a quick word with his assistant just to see where the mark was. It's just 15 metres in from this stand-side touchline, so I don't think there's any doubt that Stirling County will kick to the corner here.
Yes, I would imagine they would. Again, Stirling just getting that impetus from the start of the second half that Sonians have lacked throughout this game.
Okay.
So yes, that ball is kicked into touch.
On the line again.
5 or 6 metres out then from the Watsonians try line, and we've played 11 minutes or so of the second half. It's still no change to the half-time scoreline. Watsonians 5, Stirling County 15. But you feel that things would be very difficult for Watsonians if Stirling County could take advantage of this position here. So Rainer Kennedy, the captain, throws in, finds his man Ash cleanly in the middle of that line out, and again the referee spots an infringement from Watsonians, so Stirling County can have a go here. They look well set.
No, don't climb over. Out.
Referee telling Watsonians players not to climb over here, and Stirling County inching towards that try line here. This is going to be very difficult for Watsonians to stop it. It's dragged down short, you would think illegally so. A loud blast on the whistle here, and there could be trouble for one of the Watsonians players. They're giving away penalties under that much pressure, close to your own try line. You're certainly risking yellow cards.
Now the 3 penalties in this area. Talk to the team, otherwise we're going to have to escalate.
You just hear the referee explaining there to the Watsonians captain Lee Miller. That's 3 penalties in this area. Speak to your team, or there will be a yellow card.
That's an official warning, so it'll be yellow card next time if the infringement's committed.
Timing, sorry.
So again, Stirling County just kick that ball into touch, and will once again try and get this driving line out moving forward. They weren't quite set. They seemed a little bit too wide almost the last time. Won the line out, but just couldn't get their drive quite right. But they've got another crack at it here. And once again, goes to the same man in the middle, Adam Ash. And again, the captain throws in Rainer Kennedy and then comes round to the back of them all. It's a hold of the ball. And it's just crabbing a little bit sideways just now, but now it's broken off and they get some go forward. They're a metre or so short. And Stirling County look to recycle this. The forwards get themselves ready to carry there. Again, they come round the corner. They will pick and go here. The scrum half's just stepped out the way. Korteweg there allowed the forwards to take control there. Now he gets himself involved, finds another runner coming in at an angle. Watsonians defence up to the task for now, but they're still defending 3 or so metres away from that try line. Stirling County just taking their time here, driving through the forwards. And again, just being patient. Very clinical in that first half, making the most of their opportunities. And again, referee playing an advantage here, so Stirling County have a go at the line. They're only a metre or 2 short. The referee, once again, loud blast on the whistle.
He's going to issue a card.
Indeed, he'd already told the captain Lee Miller that the next one would be a yellow card.
Or you talked about discipline in this area.
I'm just trying to see who is. Well, it's the man who's just come on, I think, Michael Badenhorst, yes. Came on for Meso Kunavula. Can only be no more than 10 minutes or so ago. He's got to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin. So a Watsonian scrum, which is already starting to struggle against the powerful Stirling County unit, is now going to have to try and cling on with only 7 men.
Yeah, the task has just become considerably more difficult for Watsonians, losing Mike Badenhorst to the sin bin. 14 men against 15, so scrum on your 5 metre line.
Offside.
Not where they want to be. Not where they want to be.
Scrum's called.
So it was an offside call there. So the referee, Rory Campbell, had already warned Watsonians. And no surprise that although it's a penalty,
Okay, lads, your marks here.
Stirling County could have kicked for the posts, but they understand the situation here, that they'll feel that another try would just about take this game away from Watsonians. They have the upper hand here. Scrum 5 metres away from the Watsonians try line against 7 men in that scrum.
Yeah, the referee made it very clear to Watsonians that the next infringement was going to be a yellow card, and it just happened to not mean Mike Badenhorst that got singled out. So.
And it comes in from Caleb Korteweg. It's at the feet there of Adam Ash. Now Stirling County get that ball moving forward. However, the feet think just went from the front rows on both sides there, so no infringement. It'll just be a reset scrum.
Move along. Come here.
The referee will just move the scrum a metre or so away from the spot. I said earlier that the pitch, although it looks good, is cutting up a bit, and just make things easier for the
left of the mark,
for the forwards and the front rows in particular. Options both ways here, Ewan, from this scrum. It's a good position.
Yeah, I mean, I think Stirling are going to initially try and force Watsonians over the line from the scrum, but as you say, they've got options either side. Watsonians trying to cover it as best they can, but they've certainly got impetus in that scrum.
It's been good. Don't start messing around now, okay?
Josh Henderson and Ewan McGarvey stationed on the stand side of the scrum, certainly looking dangerous if it wheels that way. Look for Apiece to pick up. He's glancing across this way. He's aware that there's an opportunity at this side. The Scrum-Half would come with him just to create the extra men on this side. But as you say, Ewan, I'm sure Stirling County will have a go through the forwards and the scrum first of all. It's a depowered Watsonian scrum. It's already struggling here. It's wheeling slightly to the left, and the referee playing an advantage. If Ash can control this, he's got a chance just to go over. He does exactly that, and the referee awards the try. The third try for Stirling County through the scrum there. It was always going to be difficult for Watsonians with their man Mike Badenhorst in the sin bin, and the scrum it wheeled to the left, but good control there at the base by Apiece, and he had the presence of mind to pick that ball up and dot it down one-handed.
Lee Miller's got the Watsonian team in a huddle. He's trying to work their way out of this situation. They're 20 points to 5 down. That's a massive margin to claw back with the time less in this game. But you know, they have scored late tries in each of their games so far this season. But they've just never, as I said in the first half, the Watsonians have just never got on the front foot, and they haven't dominated territory. They haven't dominated possession, and that's been disappointing for them. And obviously very clinical by Stirling County.
Brandon Thompson makes no mistake with fairly straightforward conversion. So Watsonians 5, Stirling County 22. We played 57 minutes in this one. As you said, it seems like a very long way back for Watsonians. Do they need to change anything?
Yeah, they just need to get the ball and hold on to the ball. It's basic rugby, but that's what they need to do. They haven't had much ball, but what ball they have, they've given it away to Stirling, or they've had knock-ons and simple mistakes that have given possession away. They just need to get possession and hopefully retain possession, move the ball through a few phases, and just see if they can puncture a hole in this Stirling defence. It's looked pretty good so far, I have to say.
So the box kick there by Caleb Korteweg from the restart, chased by his left wing Logan Trotter, with the ball beating everybody, just bouncing into touch. Down in front of our camera there. So it'll be a Watsonians throw into the line out, just on the Stirling County side of halfway, and a chance, as you said, Ewan, just to win possession and go through some phases. We've got something set up here in the back line. Forwards ready to carry as well. Still a man short out there, Mike Badenhorst in the sin bin. Nothing too fancy there, just crashed up from the line out. And quickly recycled the Stirling County defence, well set, good low chop tackle there by the big second row, Ollie Bartlett. The ball kicked by Watsonians into that 22, but taken there comfortably by the fullback Josh Henderson, calls for the mark. And he'll just clear again up the Stirling County's left hand touchline.
Yeah, Sonny's gaining a bit of territory through that. As I said, they have to gain territory and they have to move it through a few phases. It's the only way they're going to get back into this game at the moment.
So that one does find touch. Watsonians do take the quick throw in, and again we'll go to the boot. Lee Miller under that one. Well, nobody under it in the end. It was there for the taking. Back it comes and snapped up by replacement scrum half Rowan Frostwick there. Taken into contact. Frostwick feeds his forwards just on the Stirling County side of halfway again, and see if Watsonians can go through some phases. Keep ball in hand. Little short ball dropped off there and inside to Frostwick, running a good support line, as all good scrum halves should do, and play now just outside that Stirling County 22. Miller again, out it comes there to the fullback Jamie Forbes. Spent 10 minutes in the sin bin in the first half, back into the fray now, and then the hooker Carl Davis
First attempt is fine.
Watsonians about 15 metres out away from the Stirling County try line, and the referee playing an advantage here for Watsonians, so they can try something if they want. There could be some space down the right hand touchline. Cut back inside here, and Watsonians just working their way up towards the county try line, 10 metres or so away now, and through the forwards again, 5 or 6 metres short. And they'll just be patient here, pick and go through the forwards.
Got advantage.
The referee's still telling them they've got an advantage here. They just need to be patient here, go through some phases, and they're doing that. It's taking their time, getting the latch on again in the forwards, try and inch their way towards that Stirling County try line. Conor Boyle picks that one up the open side again, and this time the backs will get the ball. And there's a great angle there, and Watsonians should go in for the try. They do indeed. Angus Guthrie, the try scorer for Watsonians, and again they've given themselves a chance in this game. We've still got 20 minutes to play. It's Watsonians 10, Stirling County 22.
Just exactly what Watsonians needed. A bit of territory, a bit of possession, ran it through a few phases. What a great line Angus Guthrie cut there to get over that line.
Lee Miller there with the pass. You see a great line there. And there was just enough movement in the Watsonians attack there just to put a bit of doubt into the minds of the Stirling County defence. They couldn't come forward.
You've got your defence that starts drifting across, so if you've somebody that comes in on a flat line like that, it can work wonders for you if they just get between a couple of the defenders, which Angus Guthrie did to great effect.
See Lee Miller then, you'd expect to add the extras from here. And he does indeed. The flags go up. So Watsonians 12, Stirling County 22. It's a 10-point game and still plenty of time left.
Yeah, there is time left, and if Watsonians can use that to get a bit of go forward, then who knows what can happen. They scored 2 late tries in the last 10 minutes against Melrose 2 weeks ago, so if they can do the same again here, then they'll be back up with Stirling again.
More changes. Finlay Simpson entering the fray there with the scrum cap on. Stirling County will certainly not be panicking, but perhaps feeling a little bit more pressure than they were a moment or two ago. They know, as you've said, that Watsonians have come back in games trailed by 13 points down at the Green Yards, eventually winning 14-13, so they'll know what Watsonians are capable of. Just waiting on an injury in the Stirling County 22. So Stirling County will be forced to make a change here.
Yeah, it looks a serious one. Seems to be motionless on the ground. Medics and physios attending to him though.
Could be a little bit of a break in play here. The stretcher out there. Hopefully nothing too serious. So Watsonians with the 2 tries, that was the solitary try in the first half through hooker Carl Davis, driving over from 5 metres out. It's taken them a long time to get their second. But, coming from a great bit of work, some patience and good ball retention in the Stirling County 22. They picked their moment well. They went through the forwards and just worked towards the line. They pulled the Stirling County defence in, and they picked their moment, as I say, to go to the back line. Lee Miller picked out his man coming in on an angle, and a very good try for Watsonians.
Yeah, and it's exactly what they would have been talking about doing at half time. They've come out in the second half and been put under a bit of pressure again by Stirling, defended well, and then obviously lost that try to Adam Ash, but then came back into the game, and that's what they need to do. They just need to keep possession, not give it away, and just move it through phases. And
here we go, another quick look at the
we'll see Angus
last
Guthrie's
try.
line that he cuts here. It's really quite spectacular, with the drifting defence going across.
Stirling County, yeah, just there was another player. I think it was the inside centre, Joe Reynolds, just run a dummy line as well, which did enough to attract the attention and again of the Stirling County defence. Just puts a bit of doubt in their minds. And you have to decide who the ball carrier is going to be at the very last minute.
As a defender, you've got to line a player up that you're going to tackle, and if that player doesn't get the ball, then obviously you can be exposed.
So Watsonians 12, Stirling County 22. Lengthy break in play, as we said. Just
not sure who this is that's injured.
Mostly taking every precaution, rightly so. The stretcher into place. You see on our screen there, Connor Boyle, the all-action open side flanker for Watsonians. He's very young as well, but
Scotland under-20 captain last year at the age of 18. So yeah, a really good prospect. Came out of school last year, played for Watsonians all through the season. Made the best transition of any schoolboy I've ever seen into that level of rugby in Scotland, and actually, you know, looked like a man in boys' boots, if you like. He was bouncing tackles, he was making tackles, he was everywhere. He's a real buzz bomb, number 7.
And the red head guard means he's
very easy
to spot. Yes.
Adam Ash has chosen a different look with the blonde hair, so.
Which one do you prefer?
Always go for the head guard. Always go for the head guard.
I don't have to worry what colour my hair is now. Just a view there of the referee, young Rory Campbell. We mentioned earlier he may be young, but he's certainly been in control of the game. He's spoken well to the players and very, very well this afternoon.
Yeah, I've been impressed. You know, the players can get frustrated if they've no idea, you know, why the referee is giving infringements, but he's been very clear. Every time he's given a penalty, he's said what the penalty was for, and he's been absolutely clear in his instructions as far as, you know, yellow cards and everything else concerned. So yeah, no complaints about the referee this week at all.
Just a reminder of the other games from this weekend. The Boroughmuir Bears picking up their first victory of the season. Narrowly lost their first 2. It was a late Jack Steele try, put them in the driving seat against Heriots. 3 late penalties for Heriots got them within touching distance, but unable to steal the game at the death, and that's Heriots. In fact, lost to 2 city rivals in consecutive weeks. They'll not take that well.
No, down at Golden Acre they'll not be happy about that at all. And obviously, us Watsonians having started the season with 2 away wins, it's disappointing to see us trailing at home by 10 points midway through the second half. But as I said, we've finished games strongly so far this season. So let's hope we can do the same. But this is really quite a concerning injury now. I'm not sure yet who it is that's down, but the medics and physios are taking a long time about getting him off the field. So never like to see this in a game of rugby. You know, a player down for this length of time.
Absolutely not. Hopefully, just a precaution with the stretcher on there. The other game this weekend, the late kick-off last night, the Ayrshire Bulls 29-10 winners over the Southern Knights at the Greenyards, and the Southern Knights yet to pick up a win. Just the one draw up at Stirling County, in fact, at Bridge Hawk last weekend. So not a great start to the season for them. But I was going to say we're only 3 games into the season. We always talk about a league season being a marathon, not a sprint. But actually, there's only 10 games in
with
this
Super 6,
league.
it's a bit more of a sprint, certainly. And yeah, that's actually the biggest winning margin, I think, of any of the Super 6 games so far. There's been some phenomenally close encounters. 1-point victories, couple of draws, 2-point victory on Friday night at Megatland. So, you know, I think the teams are significantly more even. The squads are much more even in ability wise in the Super 6 than they perhaps were in the Premiership previously. So, and obviously Southern Knights, based at the Greenyards down in Melrose, been used to being on top of any league, will be finding it difficult down there at the bottom of Super 6. So they'll not take that lying down, though, knowing them.
Absolutely not. So that victory for the Ayrshire Bulls at the Greenyards has catapulted them to the top of the league table. They lost their first game, but they've won their next 2. Watsonians just a further point behind, and whoever wins today will top the table at the end of the day. I suppose there is a scenario if Stirling County were to win without picking up a bonus point, and Watsonians picked up a losing bonus point, a try bonus point. I think they would actually still sit top on 1 points difference, but that's maybe overcomplicating things. Let's just see what happens in the last 19 minutes or so. But a round of applause there for the the player who's being stretchered off, and as we said, hopefully just a precaution there, and nothing too serious. We'll bring you news if we can of the injury. But back to the action here, just a reminder of the scoreline: Watsonians 12, Stirling County 22. And just past the midway point in this second half. So the restart by Stirling County, taken inside the 22 by Watsonians. Charging to contact just outside the 22, which makes things a little bit harder to deal with. Can't be kicked straight into touch here, so this will have to be a box kick that stays in the field of play. Taken by Brandon Thompson, certainly been to the fore today for Stirling County. Feeds Adam Ash, another player who's been outstanding today and easy to pick out with that white headband. Recycled quickly in the midfield, and Stirling County just sends some space down their left touchline. Dealt with by Watsonians. This will be recycled again through the forwards. So just playing off 9 there when they get to a touchline, and then play off 10 and try and get a bit more width and get the ball into the midfield on the second phase. Taken into contact again by the forwards, and now the backs will have a go. And once again, Brandon Thompson just weighs up the options there. Men with him. Ends up taken into contact, and referee telling Watsonians to leave that ball still in. This little tip-on pass there from the hooker, Carl Davis, to Jamie Hodgson. Recycled again and rewind coming down this stand side right hand touchline for Stirling County, just trying to catch the Watsonians defence napping. Again, a good angle there by Brian Leach. It's James Pout, who's carried well this afternoon for Stirling County. Once again, good ball retention. Sort of zigzagging here, Stirling County. They're going left, then right, just trying to keep moving that Watsonians defence around. And the Watsonians defensive line looking just a little bit ragged as it came up there. Stirling County spot a bit of space in behind them and just thread that ball through, and a good chase there, but good feet to escape from what could have been a difficult position there. Stirling County left winger Logan Trotter chasing well, couldn't get hands on his man. It's Watsonians forwards again, take it into contact just outside their 22.
Taken back in 9.
The referee says taken back in, so in other words telling him that he can't kick out in the full, so gives it to Miller, and Watsonians feeling that perhaps they've got to play here. There's a bit of space here, but the door quickly shut by Stirling County. The tackle made there by Landon Hayes, the inside centre. Watsonians just trying to up the pace of the game here. Little ball out the back door there, had to be juggled by Lewis Berg, but keeps control of it. Watsonians take that ball into contact. It's pick and go right through the middle of the breakdown there. Connor Boyle comes in and has to clear somebody out. And referee tells Watsonians to use it, and now they look set up for a kick. And it's Rowan Frostwick. Ball charged down on in this second half. It's Scrum-Half for Watsonians. Couldn't get his kick away there. But it's not worked out too badly for him. Watsonians retain possession. They've lost a metre or two just outside their own 22 now. And Frostwick calls for the forwards to come in, and again they'll look to just set this up, try and create a position from which they can kick. Although, is Lee Miller going to have a go through the backs again? A little kick over the top this time. There's some space behind that first line of defence from Stirling County. The back three perhaps a little bit too far back, and it was well done there by Watsonians. They regather their own kick, then put another kick through, and Stirling County suddenly find themselves back in their own 22 and a little bit panicky there as in comes the tackle. Good work there by the fullback Jamie Forbes and Angus Guthrie there for Watsonians, and they've created a turnover through a penalty there, giving themselves a position. So knock on and offside, the referee saying the infringement there. Lee Miller steps up and kicks that one into the corner, and a fantastic opportunity here for Watsonians.
Subs please, time's off.
The referee just calling time off there as more changes being made. So Watsonians making a change at tight head prop Nathan Burrell. His day is done, off he goes. Change there for Stirling. Just trying to see who came on there. Treatment for an injury as well. I think it's their open side.
Time's off. Relax.
Connor Gordon. who's gone off. And again, another break for treatment here to it's the hooker and captain for Stirling County. It is indeed Rainer Kennedy. So time will be back on here. It's a line out for Watsonians. They've already scored from a line out. Still a 10-point margin, 15 minutes to play. It's not quite getting desperate for Watsonians, but now would be a very good time to score. The first thing they have to do is take that ball from the line out, which they do cleanly, and now try and get it moving forward. The referee looks like he's playing an advantage. So Watsonians about 8 or 9 metres out. That's a good drive there. Stirling County frantically trying to get back round behind them all. And it looks like that's been taken down. Ross Maben, the assistant on this side, having a very close look. Great drive there by Watsonians. They're over the line. All they need to do is get that ball down. And the referee on the spot raises the arm. And another try for Watsonians, their third try of the afternoon. They narrow the gap further. It's Watsonians 17. Stirling County 22.
Yeah, Watsonians looking significantly more cohesive there in that driving ball. They set a good platform before they started the move, and then seemed to get tremendous forward impetus with the forwards they had involved.
Trying to see who the last man up is.
Seem to be picking Carl Davis again, maybe, but
I think it was. It's often the hooker that profits from those. He throws in and goes to the back of the driving line out. The ball gets handed to him, and unless it breaks up, it's going to stay in his hands. So we think Carl Davis, the scorer. We'll get another look at the try in just a second, but first the conversion. Can Lee Miller add the extras? This could be important.
No.
Doesn't catch that well, and it just goes past the left upright. He'll be disappointed with that. However, it's a 5-point game. Watsonians 17, Stirling County 22. Still 13 minutes to play, and it was in fact Carl Davis who scored. We'll get a look at it here. He's the man that throws in, taken under a bit of pressure at the front. They got themselves set quickly. The ball handed back to the hooker, and the referee was playing an advantage, not needed, and it kind of broke up there. Good drive forward. And there, Lewis Berg, I think the centres were in as well, and great work there. So the third try for Watsonians. You're right, you said they would come back in the second half. They've certainly done that. Back to the action now.
Just getting much more parity with possession than they did in the first half. It's been a much more even second half, I have to say.
Stirling County with possession, and they'll look to just calm their nerves a little bit here and go through some phases, keep a hold of the ball, and as he's done all day, Brandon Thompson takes that to the line. He has a little look inside and outside. However, that ball has been lost, stripped there, and a chance here for Watsonians. Not sure a kick through was the best option there. However, it hasn't worked out too badly. It's still in Watsonians' possession. Inside centre, Joe Reynolds away. No right to get through there. Dancing feet, looks for support. Takes the right option there, doesn't give it to the first man. Hands it off to his scrum half, and there's numbers and space out on the far touchline here for Watsonians. Cut back inside, and it's 2 quick fire tries for Watsonians. Fantastic try there. It's 22 points apiece from absolutely nowhere.
You can hear from the home support what they think about that. As I said, Watsonians so far this season been second half performers. They're just demonstrating that again today.
It was great work there by Watsonians. They realised where the space was. They had numbers out on that far side. And it's the replacement, Cody McGovern, the man who comes up with the try there for Watsonians. And quite unbelievably, really, considering where we were 10 minutes or so ago.
Yep.
If this conversion is successful for Lee Miller, Watsonians take the lead. Unsuccessful with his last attempt. This one almost out in front. Makes no mistake this time, and believe it or not, it's Watsonians 24, Stirling County 22. 10 minutes left to play.
Yeah, just the turnaround Sunnies were looking for in their form into the second half. So we're all set up for an exciting last 10 minutes. Cody McGovern showing a real turn of pace there to run that one in.
just as you said, what they needed to do. I mean, they had no possession, no territory. They've eventually got themselves worked into the game, and they just show how dangerous they are when they can get themselves into the opposition half or opposition 22 and keep a hold of that ball. So what have Stirling County got left up their sleeve? The restart by County, taken again in the Watsonians 22 by Angus Guthrie, the left wing. And back it goes from replacement scrum half Rowan Frostwick. Long ball up the stand side touchline, doesn't find touch. I think that was the intention. Brandon Thompson takes that, gives it to Apiece, bumps off the Watsonian hooker Carl Davis there. He takes it into contact just on the Watsonian side of halfway. Centre field, so options both ways. It looked like they were going to play across to the stand side there, but the referee saying that ball trapped in there. Stirling County going forward and the ball unplayable towards the scrum to the side going forward.
Yeah, Watsonians have certainly capitalised on the replacements they've brought on, and Stirling maybe not so much. So it can be crucial bringing replacements on in the second half. And as I said, it's a very strong squad. It's all the Super 6 teams have strong squads now, so their replacements, they look to make a real impact. And currently, Watsonians replacements make a bigger impact than Stirling's.
It's a centre field scrum here for Stirling County. It's again options both ways, two players lined up directly behind the scrum who can go left or right, depending on what the call is here.
Keep it up, keep it up.
Ball wheels the scrum, wheels to the left, but it looks like they're coming right, so Apiece feeds his scrum half. And again, some complicated running lines there by Stirling County, just trying to confuse that Watsonians defence, but they're up to the task there. And they're coming forward to make the tackles now. Stirling County maybe not making quite so much ground in contact as they were earlier. Through the hands there.
Got behind the gain line there. Watsonians getting good forward momentum.
County still in possession though. They've lost 5 metres or so in that contact, and again Watsonians just trying to make their tackles now behind the gain line, make things difficult for Stirling County. The County forwards a little bit slower coming round the corner there as well. Good solid hit again in defence by Watsonians. They're set early here, they're able to come forward and make the tackles. Good ground made there though by Stirling County. Watsonians trying to make a nuisance of themselves at the breakdown, and again they're just racing forward into contact now, and Stirling caught once again.
They're getting off the line so much quicker in this half than they were in the first half. There's another great tackle midfield.
Just a juggle in the midfield there by Stirling County, and Watsonians flying up in defence there, make the hit and force the knock on there, and they've won themselves a scrum just outside that Stirling County 22. But it's obvious from our commentary there though, the defence has just come up a notch, the Watsonians defence.
Definitely has from half time. Must have been part of the half time chat that they weren't getting up fast enough in defence and giving Stirling too much space.
Okay.
Stirling County ball carriers in that first half, they were always getting over the gain line and making a metre or two, and it was very noticeable there that the Watsonians defence is set more quickly. Maybe they've got time to do that, because as I said, Stirling County maybe a little bit slower getting themselves set, but either way, very aggressive defence there, making dominant tackles by Watsonians, and the upshot is that they now have an attacking scrum midway between the Stirling County 22 and 10 metre line. Options both ways, and similarly to Stirling County set up, they've got 2 men directly behind the scrum, so they could go either way.
Stay left of the mark.
The referee again just giving instructions to the 2 sets of front rows.
Just 6 minutes left of play, so this is a really crucial phase of the game we're moving into now.
Yes, a score here for Watsonians, you would think would just about put this game to bed. So it's Rowan Frostwick, the replacement scrum half for Watsonians, to feed the scrum here. All Watsonians need is a solid scrum. They've been under a bit of pressure in the scrum. That's very solid there. A tap on the back for the number 8 to tell him to pick it up, and Miller looking for options again, finds a hard running centre to take it into contact just outside the 22 and quickly recycled again. It's the replacement in the back row there. Taking it into contact, Finlay Simpson. Watsonians now into that Stirling County 22, and they'll look to just
Stay behind the back foot.
do as they did with their last visit, is go through some phases here, initially through the forwards.
Behind the back foot.
Pick and go, Stirling County players coming in, just trying to chop their men, not allow them to make any ground. And again, the forwards get set. And you get that latch on, it's so much harder to defend when there's a second player driving the ball carrier into contact. Once again, the forwards just inch their way forward into the further into the Stirling County 22. Ball dropped there, but the referee says no knock on.
Yeah, it was.
Watsonians again inching their way forward.
Behind the back foot.
The referee giving good instructions again. They'll just pick their moment as they did before. When's the right time to release the backs? Lee Miller has got an advantage here, and Lee Miller quickly realised and dropped into a position where he could perhaps play the ball, but they decide to kick.
This will be a kick at goal, I would imagine, just to try and run some of the clock down.
Yeah, it's calm yourself. Just calm yourself. High tackle number 5.
So high tackle number 5, just listening to the instructions or the referees telling Stirling County there. And as Ewan said, Watsonians have opted to go for goal here. Lee Miller doesn't kick perfectly today, but you'd be surprised if he was to miss this one. Should extend the Watsonians lead out to 5 points, which means of course Stirling County can't win it with a drop goal or a penalty. They'd have to score a try. And with only 3 minutes left. So Miller takes his time over this when he realises the importance of it. But makes absolutely no mistake with that one. Up go the flags, the referee's assistant. So Watsonians 27, Stirling County 22, 3 minutes left on the clock in this one, and well, Watsonians have not given themselves an unassailable lead, but they're certainly in a fantastic position with 3 minutes left. Stirling County looking a little bit short of ideas here. The first thing they have to do is get their hands on the ball. A short restart, trying to give the Stirling County forwards a chance to get under that, but there was no one anywhere near it. So Watsonians allowed to take possession there far too easily. And what they won't want to do is play through the forwards here under pressure. The ball shipped out through the hands there to Lee Miller. Just moved himself a place out wider to give himself a better angle. Doesn't find a touch, however. Was that ball knocked on? The referee has a word there with his assistant.
Facing backwards, he was facing backwards.
Apparently not knocked on, so the ball kicked long again by Stirling County. And we're going to get an aerial battle here as Lee Miller drops back again and sends that one into Stirling County territory. Taken into contact there by Logan Trotter again. The Stirling County left wing, but it's Stirling County. They've got to go 60 metres to score here. And they've only got about 2 minutes left on the clock. 5 points the Watsonians' advantage. Ball kicked again by Stirling County.
Taken back in.
And the referee again saying taken back in, so can't be kicked out in the full by Watsonians. Angled kick there towards the stand side touchline. Back comes Stirling County down the 15-metre channel. Again, a huge hit there by the Watsonians chasers. Gets the crowd noise up a bit, and the crowd very much behind the home team here. The danger man, Brandon Thompson, gets hands on ball, has a little look, but Watsonians alert to the danger now, shut the door on him. Adam Ash, and through the hands, that ball, has it gone down? It's kicked ahead there by Watsonians, a chance, foot race here. Back goes Stirling County. Regather that in their 22. Players off their feet, that's come back on the Watsonian side. This could well be a score for Watsonians, and then he goes for the hat-trick. Carl Davis, the hooker, can you believe it, lurking out there on the right wing. And that's the clincher for Watsonians. Watsonians 32, Stirling County 22. What a comeback for Watsonians.
Unbelievable second half. I said at half time, their second half players, never expecting them to come back as strongly as they have done. This last 10 minutes has been all Watsonians. They've suddenly got front foot ball, their fitness is told. They've just looked the team they've looked all season. And yet another fantastic second half performance by Watsonians.
Just seeing the replay there, but if you think back to what the score was, and Watsonians seem just down and out, and to have come back and won this game by, well, 10 points. The conversion still to come by Lee Miller as the clock ticks over 80 minutes. So the hooter, I was just about to say hasn't gone, but it has gone now. So this will be the last action of the game.
Yeah, it just shows all you. Just goes to show for you young kids watching at home that the game's never over till the final whistle goes. You've got to keep trying right to the end.
And the final whistle will go after this kick by Lee Miller. Out wide on the right hand side. He knew as soon as he had kicked that it was over, because he glanced up, bent over to pick up the tee, and a fantastic kick adds the extras. Watsonians 34, Stirling County 22, the final score. Can I quickly ask you who your man of the match is, Ewan?
Well, the man that just took that successful kick at the end, I think Lee Miller. I think his captain decided well. I think he would be in a big part of the half-time team talk, as he was at Heriots last week. And he certainly, the first 10 minutes of the second half, they still struggled, but eventually they came on to a fantastic game, and I think Lee Miller's played a huge part in that.
Very much so. There were one or two other candidates. I mean, if you score a hat-trick from hooker, you're always going to be in the mix. And a good afternoon by Carl Davis. He had a torrid time in the line-out in that first half, but recovered from it.
Yeah, I just think the line-out didn't function in the first half at all for Sonians. So it was a tough call. There was some good performances by Sonians and some decent ones by Stirling as well, but they were shaded in the end by a very strong finishing Sonians team.
Yes, you mentioned Brandon Thompson and Adam Ash, two pros, of course. So you'd expect that from them.
They were head and shoulders above anyone else in the Stirling team from my angle, certainly.
So the players just shaking hands there, the Stirling County players. I mean, obviously absolutely gutted. They will feel that they were in a winning position there and should have put that one to bed. Similarly, last weekend at home at Bridge Hawk, they were in a commanding position, led 19 points to 3 at half-time against the Southern Knights, allowed them back into the game, and ended up with a 24-all draw. But anyway, back to today, Watsonians Rugby 34, Stirling County 22, the final score. So we'll have a look at our second half scores. So here we go. First of all, the Stirling County scrum picked up there by Adam Ash. That was when Watsonians had a man in the bin, so they're up against 7 men in the scrum, and Adam Ash managed
no competition there. Watsonians Scrum-Half, no chance against Adam Ash.
But then Watsonians came back into this game, and this was the one you mentioned at the time, the running lines. It's so important there.
Great line by Angus Guthrie.
And the line inside him from Joe Reynolds did enough again just to hold the Stirling County defence, and that was really the play that triggered the comeback, if you like. But then we had their second score from the driving line-out.
Yeah, Carl Davis yet again getting his hands on the ball, as the hookers tend to do from these driving line-outs. Taking nothing away from Carl, he had a great second half.
So he scored in the first half from the maul. They drove the line out over, and his
very
second
patient
came
there in the build-up for that try, I have to say.
The second came from a similar position. It was his third one was just a little bit more fancy, if you like. But before that, we have the Cody McGovern try. Showed great speed, as you said in commentary.
Just a quick step, and then he used his gas and out-sprinted the defence.
Great try there by
You could see
McGovern.
the momentum shift in the Watsonian team, just possibly with that previous pushover try.
So The ball hacked through there by Lee Miller when it went loose. And Carl Davis, I don't think he could believe his luck there. He saw there was space on the blind side. He shouted to his replacement scrum half, Rowan Frostwick, and he just got the ball popped up to him, dived over in the corner.
Carl Davis is a fair turn of speed as well. He's been scoring tries for fun in the last few weeks.
So we announced that the man of the match was the Watsonians captain Lee Miller. And we can cross now and hear the thoughts of Lee Miller.
Lee, 3 wins from 3 on top of the Super 6. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, definitely delighted. I mean, I think if you'd offered that in pre-season, we'd have taken it all day long. I think the positive thing is we're not playing that great in the first halves, but we seem to come out in the second half and really dig deep. And as I say, getting 3 wins from 3 is ideal. Spot on.
And like you said, you do love a second half comeback. How much does that say about the character of the players at Watsonians?
I think it's huge. Yeah, it shows how close we are as a group to be able to put each other under that pressure at half times and look for a reaction out of boys. So I think moving on to next week, the ideal thing would be to get an 80-minute performance. But as I say, we'll take the win today and work on things next week.
And looking ahead to next week on a away game against the Ayrshire Bulls, do you very much think that Watsonians are the team to beat this year?
I wouldn't say that. I think everybody's kind of on a level playing field at the minute, as you see by the results. Everybody's turning around and getting wins week in, week out. So I think we'll go to Ayr next week, be another big physical game, and hopefully come away with on top.
Well, congratulations, Lee. You're a FOSROC Player of the Match, and we've got Gavin Hastings to present you with your award.
Give me brother Scott, but never mind. Well done, Lee. Thank you. Well done. Cheers.
So the thoughts there of Watsonians captain Lee Miller, our player of the match, presented with his award by one of the Hastings brothers there.
There's so many of them, that's the problem.
But you mentioned again, he did have a fantastic game. His opposite number as well was instrumental, Brandon Thompson. So it's quite something to outplay him. Yeah,
no, I thought it was Lee Miller's influence as a captain today that would be the turning point of Sonny's performance. He would certainly have a lot of words to say to them at half time. It was a very poor first half by Watsonians, but they seem to be getting used to having poor first halves and phenomenal second halves. So as he said himself, it'd be great to see an 80-minute performance, but that last 40 minutes from Watsonians was really quite something, and particularly that last 10 minutes where they just seemed to run away with the game.
But they created that themselves, it has to be said. I don't know whether Stirling County ran out of steam a little bit. We spoke in commentary about the defence. They just brought their defence up a notch, and suddenly the Stirling County ball carriers weren't getting over the gain line. The back division were under pressure, and that was creating mistakes which Watsonians profited from. And then when they got territory and possession in the Stirling County 22, they were patient. They went through several phases with the forwards. They picked their moments when to release it and scored some fantastic tries.
Yeah.
So we can we've now got the losing coach, Stirling County's Ben Cairns.
Ben, a difficult result to take. What was your take on today's match?
Yeah, it's hugely disappointing considering the position we put ourselves in. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've been up on the scoreboard pretty healthily at half time, and then we've let that lead slip. I think being 22-5 up just after half time today, and then in the last 30 minutes capitulating the way we have is really disappointing. We have to look at why that was the case, how we managed that period of the game better. But we've got to learn quick. We go again in 6 days' time, so it's a quick and steep learning curve for us.
And looking ahead to next week, you're back in Edinburgh against Heriots Rugby. How do you ensure you get a reaction from your players for that one?
Yeah, we've got an honest group of boys, so they'll look at the video and I think they'll come in on Tuesday ready to put a few wrongs right. And as I said, it's about controlling that passage from about 50 minutes to 70 minutes a bit better than we did. Put ourselves in a really good position. We hope to do that again next week, but then just see the game out a little bit better than we managed today.
Thanks for talking to us, Ben.
Cheers. Thank you.
The thoughts there of obviously very disappointed losing coach, Stirling County's Ben Cairns. Before that, the Watsonians captain Lee Miller. So we'll have a quick look at the league table. So Ayrshire Bulls did top the table after last night's victory against the Southern Knights, but Watsonians have leapfrogged them after that victory today. So 3 wins from 3 for Watsonians. They are top of the pile on 14. Ayrshire Bulls second on 10. Then come the Boroughmuir Bears and Stirling County tied on 7. Heritage Rugby on 6, and then the Southern Knights still looking for that first win on 3 points. So we will be back next week, and our live match will be the Boroughmuir Bears against the Southern Knights. That's from 2 o'clock next Sunday. So Ewan, thank you very much for your insight this afternoon. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And just a quick reminder of the final score in the FOSROC Super6 here at Myerside this afternoon. It was Watsonians 34, Stirling County 22. We look forward to joining you again next week.